Hi everyone, it's Rishma from OT for Life again. Moving on with some of the short videos on stress management, I want to talk a little bit today about the hardwired response to stress that all humans have from the time of the cave people. So if you think back to the time of the cave people, what would be the biggest threat that a cave person might perceive? Could be a large animal that could show up at the cave door. So then that cave person has to make a choice. Am I going to stay and fight this large animal, or am I going to run back into the cave and hide? Thus the phrase fight or flight. If you've done any reading or research on stress management, you will have heard that before. And so when we perceive, as humans, we perceive a threat, and we decide to stay and fight, then our brain goes into sort of overdrive, and the brain sort of says, okay, well, if I'm going to stay and fight this large animal, again, this is back from the time of the cave people, if I'm going to stay and fight this large animal, then I'm going to need a lot of energy going into my muscles very, very quickly, going into my arms and my legs so I can actually physically fight. And so the body actually steals glucose, which is a source of energy, a source of sugar, from any organs and all organs that it can find in the body, and it quickly shunts them to the arms and the legs so that you can actually have the energy and the power that you need to fight this large animal. So that's one thing that happens. Another thing that happens is the brain says, okay, well, if I'm going to fight this large animal, I cannot be sleepy at all. So the sleep center kind of shuts down, so that you can be awake and alert and focused and get the job done so that you can fight this animal. The other thing the brain says is, okay, well, I don't have time to be worrying about going to the bathroom. So the digestive system actually shuts down for the amount of time that you need to do what you need to do to fight this large animal off. Once that large animal is now killed and is no longer a threat, or it runs away, then what happens is the body goes back to normal. All of the hormones that are released, and cortisol is one of the hormones that are released in the body when a person responds to stress, and cortisol is what's responsible for adrenaline, which is why we can really feel our heart beating really fast when we're stressed out. Our muscles get really shaky because of all the extra glucose that's coming in there because of the cortisol. So it's a whole chemical process that takes place when we're responding to stress. Once that threat is gone, then all of the hormones come back to normal. So our melatonin, which is responsible for helping us feel sleepy, that comes back to normal. Our digestive enzymes and juices start going again. Our glucose level goes back to normal. And our adrenaline levels go back to normal. That's what's supposed to happen. That's the hardwired response. Today, we perceive so many different things as threats. So think about all the different things you might perceive as threats. Today, we have threats to our identity, our culture, our language. We perceive threats to our intelligence. We perceive threats to our safety and security. We perceive threats maybe to our relationships. We perceive threats to our job security. So today there are many, many, many more things around us that we perceive as threats. And so our hardwired response to stress is almost always on, because in any given moment, we are perceiving things as threats, and our body just responds the way that it's always responded. So I want to leave it there because this is actually a longer video than what I usually do. So hope that makes some sense in terms of what the way that we're already hardwired to respond to stress. And then in the next videos, we can talk about, so where does that leave us, and what choices do we have, and how could we actually manage our stress a little bit better, knowing what we know about the hardwired response. Hope that was helpful. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.